Well, hey, everybody.
Yep.
It's Friday night.
Yeah, we're going out tonight.
Going to Memento Mori this evening.
Yeah, special event.
And look, I got white hair and I got fuzzy ears.
Yeah. Back up, see a little bit. So they say she got her wolf ears on.
I got wolf ears on.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Really.
They're cute, though.
Yeah.
I bought her those. Turn sideways and let them see it. Let them see it. Get down, back up, back up.
What do I have to do? Jesus Christ.
Because they're not in frame. Now
Okay.
turn sideways like you were. Yeah, they're cute.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
You know, everyone's going to think I'm a furry.
No. Well, you wear horns.
That's true. But horns aren't exactly the same.
Yeah. If you don't want to wear them, you don't have to wear them.
No,
Put the
that's
horns
all
on.
right. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
You
I
gotta
think
put
it
the horns
looks
on.
good, but I don't know.
You think they say, well, she's all furry now.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, well.
It's cool though. It's cute.
All right.
Little Japanese girls.
Yeah,
wear 'em.
see, Allison even said Jenny's playing furry tonight.
Yeah.
See? And she said that before I said anything.
Yeah, little Japanese girls wear them.
I'm not a
Yeah.
little Japanese girl, in
Little
case
Japanese
you
girl.
didn't. I did have Japanese food for lunch
Yeah.
today, but that does not make me a little Japanese girl. Oh my god.
Well, you
Yeah.
got all kinds of horns you can put on. You got ram's horns.
Yeah. I
Devil's
mean,
horns.
I wear those a lot, but I like those. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? American Military went on to say, great show on hybristophilia. Thank you very much. That's what we did on Wednesday, in case you didn't see it. We forgot to mention, and oh my god, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, because I had her, I was reading about her, and I was going to put it in the notes, and I must have forgot. Veronica Compton, who tried to murder somebody in the same manner as Ken Bianchi, who was one of the Hillside Stranglers, to like get him off with the murder. Because they're like, look, the dude's still running around loose. It's a whole story. We could probably do a whole show about her. Oh, I don't know if we talked about her on the, because we did do a show about the Hillside Stranglers, because there's two of them. They were cousins.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if we mentioned her on there or not. That was a long time ago. But yeah, CB said, love the last show. The serial killer ones are the best. I agree. I kind of do like doing the serial killer ones, to be honest with you. But, you know, like I said, I like to mix it up.
No, some of the other shows we do are good too.
Yeah, I mean, and when I do and sometimes, like, shows that Tom's like, really, we're going to do a show about that? But then sometimes those end up being, like, the most fun or, like, the most interesting. Like, once you start looking into it.
Right.
Like I said, I think you said that about the Benedict Arnold show, and that ended up being really interesting. Like, I went down, like, a huge rabbit hole with that. I don't know if anybody else found it interesting, but I did.
It's kind of like a history lesson. I don't know if everybody's into it, but I guess, I don't know.
I mean, I'm really interested in shit like that. And I'm especially interested in, like, history that a lot of people don't know about, or, you know, that's been taught a certain way and that's not the way it was, or, you know, that it's a lot more complicated. I'm really into that kind of stuff. And, like, I know not everybody is, but I like that kind of shit. Zach said, I still love that Queen Victoria show. Was really cool. Wait, did we do a show about Queen Victoria? Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we? Holy crap. We've done so many shows, I don't even remember. Like,
We've been doing this almost 10 years now. We've been about 8 years.
When did we start?
Yeah, I think we're about 8 years.
8 years. 8 years.
Yeah, it went quickly.
We started in the summer of 2016.
Yeah.
But at that
Hard to
time,
believe, man.
we were only just doing the regular show. And we started out doing, like, paranormal stuff and true crime. And then, like, later we added movie reviews.
Yeah, and the show was just a slideshow.
Yeah, we didn't, like...
Nobody knew what we looked like.
We didn't even come on, like, show on video until, like, the 200th episode or something.
Yeah. Then we come on and do a live stream, and people were just like fucking amazed. That's what you guys look like? Yeah. That's fucking funny. It was funny when it happened.
People, I never, like, whenever, if there's somebody that I listened to for a long time, like, here's a good example of this. There's a YouTube channel, and a lot of y'all probably listen to it too, called Lazy Masquerade. And he just does, like, real creepy, like, true crime type of stuff. And for a long time, it was just a voiceover. And he has a really cool voice. Like, I always liked his voice. And I think he might be British or South African. I can't quite tell, like, what the accent is. But I think he lives in Japan. Because he does a lot of Japanese true crime. And I didn't know what he looked like. And I don't know if I pictured him a certain way. But he started showing up, like, because he needed for sponsors and stuff like that. Like, doing the ads for the sponsors. And I was like, I don't know what I expected him to look like. But it wasn't that. You know what I mean? I don't know, like, and that's not a bad thing. Like, I was like, oh, he's actually pretty cute. But it's like, I don't know, that it wasn't anything like I expected him to look.
Yeah, that's what they said about us.
Yeah.
They didn't expect it to look like this.
I don't think anybody expects.
Yeah.
Which is really, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That like when you just hear people's voices like for years and years, and then you see them, you're like, well, I'm not really sure what I expected them to look like, but not that.
Yeah.
I'm always wrong. Always. And I feel like most people are, and that's fascinating. I wonder if anybody's ever studied that.
But then people instantly responded to the live streams. They're like, "No, do this, keep doing this," and then we never went back to the other shit.
And
that was an older format anyway. Nobody does it anymore.
Not really, no.
No, that's old school shit. Doing fucking audio only slideshows, all recorded. Especially with the some people still do that, but like recorded shows. But you can see them. Now you can see them pretty well.
Yeah.
Or at least there's an avatar there. Sometimes talking.
Yeah.
They have that now too.
I kind of like, because there's some that I like. There's one guy that does, and I can't remember the name of it. I'm subscribed to his channel, but I'm subscribed to like 5 bajillion channels. And he's a history guy, but he like movies that are historical. Like he talks about how accurate they were. And I guess he doesn't want to appear on camera, but he has like a little animated version of himself that like sits at a desk like in a library and talks. And I'm like, that's kind of neat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
CB said Jenny's voice is so sexy. Well, thank you very much. Maybe I should start doing not phone sex. I don't call it not phone sex anymore.
Do the MSR.
Yeah. I have thought about doing that.
Just do some boob AMSR. Just sit there and have the microphone and clap your boobs together. They were girls doing that. They got blocked.
They will. I mean, seriously,
it was two sex girls that were just trying to fucking clap their booty cheeks together during AMSR. I remember when AMSR first happened, and all girls were trying to get away with all kinds of shit, just to get, and their channels were exploding. But then they vanished. YouTube was like, no, we can't have this. So then they moved all that shit to Twitch.
Yeah.
And Twitch started cracking down on them. What they could allow the ex-porn star girls started going to Twitch to do their talk shows where they could get away with a lot more. Doing their show from a pool, from a kiddie pool in the house with the water. Fucking stupid. It's okay, hey though, you know. Girl got to make money.
If you can make money clapping your tits together into a microphone, more power to you.
Yeah, clap your tits together in a microphone.
You know, hey. And if people are willing to pay for
There's
it.
There's your AMSR.
See, I always thought the whole point of that. Well, maybe not, but I thought it was supposed to be like kind of relaxing.
Well, yeah, it is. It is, but the porn girls jumped in there and tried to use it as an excuse to make porn that could pass censors. That you calling it something else other than what it was.
Than what it is.
Yeah.
Just watch me clap my boobs.
Watch me on the bed, on my knees, back shot. Clapping booty together, giving you the look back. You know what I mean?
Can we have a video of you like that, Tom?
Yeah, it's gonna cost though. It's gonna cost money. It's gonna cost.
He's like, I'm not gonna do it for free.
Yeah, that's just gonna cost money, man. The gay crowd will fucking go wild. Girls don't buy porn.
No, we don't.
They don't buy porn.
They buy erotica.
Yeah,
but that's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's for the same purpose generally, but it's not the same thing. We talked about that a lot on the Hybristophilia show, like why women were into serial killers and men not so much. Ira said I follow him, he's pretty good. And then I can't remember what his name is. Adriana said Lazy Masquerade has a baby face. I was not expecting that. I guess it was, I don't know, like he was a lot younger than I was picturing, and he had like long curly hair, which I also was not picturing. I kind of pictured short hair. I don't know why.
They told us what they pictured us looking like, and
I'd be interested.
But I don't remember what it was.
To see everyone's drawings of what they thought that we looked like.
I don't remember what it was.
That's going to be your homework assignment. Send a drawing of what you thought we looked like.
In that live stream comment section, they were going, "Man, we thought you would look like this or that, this or that." You know? I don't remember what it was that they were saying though.
Oh my god.
In general. I remember them saying that we looked better than they thought we looked.
Well, that's always good.
We looked better than what they expected.
That's always good.
Yeah, they probably just thought we were going to be fat or something. You know?
Or look like fucking, I don't know.
Well, they knew how old we were, so they probably also thought
Duck
we were...
Dynasty or some shit.
I was in my 40s then. But they probably thought I was going to look old. You know?
I don't know, maybe.
I looked young until I was about fucking 45. No, probably late. 48.
Yeah.
I looked exactly the same at 38 as I did 48.
You did, yeah.
Then it just all happened at once. So I said, shit, I gotta stop this. I went in the gym, started fucking taking HRT, it just hits all of a sudden, late 40s. Your age just starts coming. Weight starts coming on you. That's the first symptom. Weight starts coming off on you when you're a guy, and if you had good hair, you're now losing it in your late 40s. So I said, fuck it. Started fucking banging hormones and just shaved all the fucking hair off. It just grew facial hair. It worked out.
You just gotta roll with whatever's going on.
You just gotta change with your times. You know what I mean? Fucking what worked in your 20s and 30s and 40s is not gonna work in your 50s and your 60s. You gotta have another look for that. You know, even David Bowie, one of the best aged dudes, he aged well his whole fucking life. But he changed his look as he went to fit his age. He didn't ever look old to me. He looked good the whole time. Even when he was dying, he looked pretty good. He never looked he looked older, but he never looked like an infirm old man, even when he had cancer.
Yeah.
You know, he was still like recognizable. Like, yeah, that's fucking Bowie, you know.
Well, we were talking about that at the club last week because we were talking about, like, you know, 80s musicians and bands and stuff like that had aged better than others. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know, last time I saw Duran, they still looked pretty fucking good. But I said the thing about them is that they were always into, like, looking good.
Yeah.
You know, so they were always into, like, fashion and hair and everything like that. So they aged pretty well, especially Nick Rhodes. He still looks pretty, at least the last time I saw him. But the thing about it is that, and I said, and here's a kind of a big distinction, they're not trying to look like they're 25.
No.
They're just like...
Looking like cool old dudes.
They're just trying to look like cool older dudes. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're going with their age, you know what I mean? Yeah. They're not out there like fucking wearing some shit like, I don't know, like Motley Crue or something like that.
Well, a lot of it is weight. You know?
Yeah, that it...
As long as you're not overweight, you can stay looking quite cool as you get older. Look at Cassandra Peterson, also known as Elvira. She's 72 or 73. She looks fucking great. She's got the same body, basically, because she didn't have a bunch of weight on it.
Yeah.
Now she's not natural. She's had work done, and she's on stuff. I can hear from her voice she's on steroids. But you're gotta have androgens from somewhere. You know what I mean? You don't make those hormones. You're gonna have to inject them. But have you ever listened to her voice?
Yeah.
She's got a deep voice.
Yeah.
Kind of a rough voice. That's androgen use. Yeah. Probably primobolan. Something mild. But she's in good shape. So Zoe, what's her name? That other horror chick. She's
Barbara
Crampton. She looks fucking great. She's 64.
Yeah, she's like mid-60s.
Yeah. She's still cute.
Like I said, she doesn't really look that different than she did back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which is a little spooky.
Yeah. Our friend, he was fucking, he's the dude I was always talking about who's showing up with the call girls and shit at the club the other day. He's a little bit younger than me. He's like a year younger than me. He's in rough shape, though. And he says, man, I gotta he was on test for a while. And it changed him. He looked a lot better for a while, but then he got off of it. He didn't have the discipline to stay on it. It's just not for everybody. Some people gotta fucking be disciplined, stick to shit. He goes, man, I gotta get back on that shit, man. I'm sick of looking like this. And I'm going, yeah, you'll lose some weight, you know, because he did before. He looked like he got bigger. He looked like he grew taller.
Yeah,
because he was standing up straight. The thing is, though, is that, man, if you've abused your body for 50 fucking years, you're not going to be able to turn that around in 5 years. It doesn't matter how much you dump into your system. You know, you might be able to do it in 20 years, but you're going to be in your 70s by then. You know? It's just...
I mean, it's better than not doing it.
Yeah, it's better than not doing it. Right.
You're not going to get the same results, honestly.
Yeah, but it's a lot easier as if you always held it together, which the people we're talking about, they always held it together.
Camp Guy says, Dr. Grande is really an AI-generated avatar. I mean, I love Dr. Grande. I think that the thing... Anytime we do a show about a serial killer or something like that, I'm like, I bet Dr. Grande did a video about this dude. And he did. And the thing that's best about him is he's so fucking deadpan. Like, he'll make a joke, and you don't even realize it's a joke for a second. You know what I mean? Because it's just the same tone of voice as like everything else, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I see what you did there. And then Allison says he has a cactus fetish. He does. What is that about? He has like all those cactuses in the back of his set there. CB said guys are idiots paying $50 to masturbate. I mean, yeah, there's so much free porn out there, but you know.
What's this?
Some people like real specific things and like interaction with a live person.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So that's where we were making money.
Yeah.
And then also videos for fans, custom videos for fans. That's happened a couple times. And then every video we sold, it was probably one of y'all.
Probably.
Yeah. Somebody who
no
knew
judgment.
who we were. Somebody knew who we were. You know. And they're asking for stuff.
Which, yeah, that's fine. Honestly, that's probably... I don't mind doing that. I don't mind doing custom. As long as it's not too fucking crazy.
Yeah, and it becomes available to the public, too. You buy the video, you're going to get what you wanted. Price will be pretty reasonable as long as you let us sell it afterwards.
Well, I would always ask.
Yeah,
like,
ask.
You know, can I, or will this be exclusive forever? Because if they say exclusive forever,
then it's gonna cost a lot more.
It's going to cost a lot more, but
Right.
two, I will absolutely do that. But you got to pay more. If I can sell it after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, right.
Then
we'll just use it as production costs.
Right.
You're paying for us for the production. You're producing it, but we're gonna sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hello there says, my grandma's dying wish was that you do another installment of your Night Gallery reviews soon. I promise I will. I was planning on doing another one of Thriller next, because I think I try to alternate between Night Gallery and Thriller because I'm watching both series at the same time. But if you want me to do a Night Gallery one, I can absolutely do that. I gotta put up a crime one too. I already got one planned. I just haven't started it yet. Camp Guy said the Lazy Masquerade opening character avatar is scary as shite to me. Yeah, he's got like a really good branding. It's almost like a weird, like one of those samurai masks.
Yeah.
But it's like 3D and it kind of like turns around like that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's cool. Yeah, I really like his channel a lot. I watch him a lot. Like I said, I like his voice and he always does real creepy. He does a lot of true crime, but because he lives in Japan, he does a lot of Japanese true crime that Westerners don't know that much about, and some of it's like pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
So
the online game now is you gotta be a jack of all trades. Especially if you're working from home, you want to get contracts from various different kinds of business that you have. You do your show, and the show cross promotes to other shit. If you're actually looking at what's going on in like OnlyFans and all that shit with these girls. A lot of them are not making very much money. Most of them only make about $300 a month. Now that helps them pay rent. They got minimum wage jobs and shit. But kind of like I think the era of some girl making it rich off of just that alone, I think that's going away.
Well, it's saturated. The market's saturated.
They're all in there, and now
it's harder to stand out.
And now the novelty of it is gone, so it's kind of becoming passé. So it's not mainstream at all. Like it was, or what's a good way to put it? It's not a big seller like it was. It's going to be specialty shit.
Yeah, and honestly, I advocate that if you're at all wanting to make money online, it's like don't try to appeal to everybody.
No,
find a niche. It takes longer, but you probably won't make as much money, obviously, but. If you try to do what everyone else is doing, you're just going to get lost in the sea. Because there's billions of people doing the same shit.
No matter how cute you are, there's fucking millions of other girls just as cute or cuter.
Yeah, that are doing the same kind of shit.
Yeah, and they're not getting that much action either.
Right, because it's just too many. It's too many.
Right, so you got to pick some kind of a weird fetish.
That's underserved.
Yeah, it's underserved, and you go with that. And some of the shit these girls are doing is just fucking funny. Funny as shit. They make money on it. The thing is, they don't have that many fans, but those fans are paying them. Yeah. Now, they may not be making a living off of that, but it's extra money. Like, I saw girls making a bunch of videos. They don't ever really get nude in them. It's just breast expansion videos. They got fake boobs on underneath their shirts. They just get bigger and bigger, and they're talking shit to each other. And
it'd be funny if they exploded at the end.
Yeah, they try to do all that shit. You know?
Then I might watch it.
My shirt's gonna rip. She goes, no, just hold on one second.
They're gonna blow up.
Yeah, what's happening? You know, and then they got like fake milk dispensers and shit spraying milk off through the shirt.
Oh, and it'd be super cool too if they exploded and like somebody dressed like James Bond like walked away from the boobs like in slow motion at the end.
Then they're pretending to blow some dude who isn't there. You're just a damn camera shot of a big rubber dick. And it's just. They're not even trying to make you believe that this is a real situation. It's almost kind of like, if you were to see it, it would look like a gag. You know, kind of like it's like just a skit. But to some dude, he thinks that's sexy as shit. He paid him to do that.
Yeah.
You know, just
whatever. Like I said, I'm not judging.
But like I said, that is like a niche target market. And for all you know, they make $1,000 a month doing that. And then once it's up there, it continues to sell.
Yeah.
So if they have a lot of it up there, it's just back there in the background bringing in a certain amount of money.
Yeah, because you really do have to make a lot of stuff. You have to make a lot of stuff. You have to post a lot on social media.
Because if you look on
like
Twitter,
a full-time job.
On Twitter or X, if you follow one pornographic producer, or all of a sudden you get bombarded with all the other ones. All right.
They're like, oh, you like this?
They're in your stream,
have
right?
all of it.
Well, it starts to blur, or it's all the same. There's fucking millions of them, and you go, man, these poor. And then if you were to actually go to their Twitter, you say, well, this poor girl's trying to work her ass off. She's got 6 videos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she's not even making any money. You know. And she's trying her hardest to stand out. So you kind of think, well, what's this girl do for a living? And she probably works at Dunkin' Donuts. You know?
Dunkin' Donuts.
And this is what probably a single mom working at Dunkin' Donuts, and this is an extra, trying to make an extra $200 a month.
Yeah, which, like I said,
that helps.
You gotta hustle, man.
Yeah, that helps. But
yeah, that might pay like one or two of her bills.
That might pay a couple of her bills, right? Yeah.
I don't. Like I said, I don't shit on anybody trying to make money.
No. Well,
legally,
people have to try to make money.
Sure.
I can understand it.
And even people that sell drugs, I'm not even that mad about it, even though it's technically
that should have never been illegalized. It should have been.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It should have been controlled like in alcohol or any other kind of stuff. Cigarettes.
Zach says, I think the first time I watched you guys with no context, I assumed Tom was like 60-something with a beard. And I think I imagined Jenny as like really skinny and brunette.
Yeah. Oh, before you saw what we looked like?
Yeah. Well, you have a beard now, but you didn't for a long time.
No.
You didn't for a long time. That's a more recent thing. I mean, and it's weird because, there are some people that didn't know you before, and like when you didn't have a beard.
Yeah. Like,
because you were talking about that chick at Starbucks.
The girls at Starbucks, freaked
out.
You
always go to, like, because they've only known him.
They've only seen me like this.
Like in the last year or two.
Yeah, and I come up there on my bike and shit, so they have kind of had a fixed idea of what I was like. And I once, I was talking about something, and then I said something. They said something about my beard, and I said, "Yeah, this is new." She goes, "You didn't have a beard?" I said, "No." She's like, "I couldn't imagine you with a beard." So then I showed her a picture off of Facebook of me and you, like from like 2015 or 16, and I said, "That's what I used to look like." She goes, "That's you?" And she's calling over, "Look, that's him.
Look at this shit.
Look at that shit." Like, and she goes, "That doesn't look like you." She's like,
"It did though."
She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I can't believe that's you." I said, "Yeah."
Because I'm used to you looking like this now, but like for a long time you didn't look like that.
Yeah. And I said, "It doesn't like me." He goes, "No, you just." She goes, "I like you like this." Okay. Like this, and yeah.
She's
ball with a beard.
Like yeah.
Ball with a beard. She says, "That makes sense." This is okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You didn't make sense before.
I didn't make sense. Yes.
You did though.
But they don't know me.
They didn't know you.
They didn't know me as that. Yeah.
Zach says an 80s singer who's clearly older but still looks damn fine is Morton Harkett from Aha. I have not actually seen him for a very long time.
He looks similar. Not the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was always pretty cute back in the day.
He looks about the same.
They were all kind of cute, all the dudes from Aha, but he was clearly the cutest one. Sorry, other guys. What were their names? Pal and... I can't remember the other guy's name. I used to know. I wasn't super into Aha, but for some reason, like, all the music of the 80s, even the music that I didn't really like, kind of, it's all in my brain through, like, osmosis.
Yeah, it was around.
So it was just around. So it's like I remember, like, band member names and, like, fucking songs I don't even like who did them, and I don't know why that happens, but...
They're saying all kinds of stuff in there.
Did we see the film Abigail yet? No, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see it, though. It looks good.
It's still in the theater?
It might be. High Desert said, have I seen the trailer for Longlegs? I haven't seen the trailer. I did see, like, a couple ads for it, though, and I was just like, people were talking about how freaky it was, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, that might be something I'm gonna see. Earlier today, I watched that Alex Garland movie, Men, because I'd kind of been wanting to see that because I remember seeing previews for it like a couple years ago when it came out like in the theater. And we just talked about Civil War, like, which is the new Alex Garland movie, and I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot about that movie. And I feel like a lot of people didn't like it. I kind of dug it though. It's fucking weird. It was fucking weird. And I get how people watching it were like, what the fuck did I just watch? You know what I mean? I get it, but I like movies like that, you know. I might do a review of it next week sometime. Allison said, I always think of my period when I hear Barbara Crampton. I do too, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel like I would probably change my name if that was my last name, just because, you know. Let's see. Yeah, Allison says she owns both on good old DVD, Night Gallery and Thriller. Yeah, I don't have Thriller. I usually just watch that on YouTube, but I do have all 3 seasons of Night Gallery though. And I'm slowly going through them. I haven't seen all the Thrillers. I've seen all the Night Galleries a couple times through, but I'm doing another watch through and like doing 6 episodes at a time or something like that. Like I said, I can do more Night Gallery, but I was going to do Thriller next, but we'll see. And let me see. John Smith said, I predict within 5 years we will have custom deepfakes. You want a Tomb Raider era Angelina Jolie and Hillary Clinton? Sure thing.
They kind of already have.
I mean, you can kind of already do that. Yeah. It's just not super convincing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll absolutely be a thing that'll happen.
Yeah, but the CG porn is like that.
Yeah, which like I said, I kind of like it.
You're not hindered by reality or physics or biology.
And it makes it kind of more interesting.
Yeah, you'll have like
because you'd have all kind of crazy situations.
Yeah, you'll have cartoon characters that look real, like just say it's Velma or something from Scooby Doo, with insane, improbable proportions, just impossible proportions on her, jumping up and down on some kind of dick the size of a damn fire hydrant, and somehow it's fitting in there. And fucking all kinds of weird shit going on. And the camera angles are impossible, or near damn impossible. Then they'll show interior shots, and just anything, man. Fucking anything to blow your fucking mind. And it's all CG. And there's AI programs that help them do it. And they can make the physics look real or fake or whatever. They can pretty much put anybody's face on it. I've seen superhero type porn where, it looks like Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman and what's that other the Joker's girlfriend? What's her name? Fucking
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn, yeah, doing a lesbian scene.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And they're fucking jacked.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, they're jacked. Look like they've been fucking working out, and they got huge boobs and fucking immense asses, but everything looks like muscle, and it's just little tiny waists. And you look at the faces; it looks like them.
Yeah, they did a good job.
It looks like them.
Whoever did it. Some of the animators are better than others.
Yeah,
but
it's not all equal.
Yeah, like some of it's kind of crappy, or you can tell it's a little bit like lower effort.
The dudes that are really good, you can find them through Twitter, and then they're posting in other places, and some of the work that they're doing, they're making money doing that. Okay, same way any other performer would. Some people are contracting them to make the video. Sometimes they're crowdsourced. And he's making a video to the certain specifications. Like the characters are in it, what's going to happen, how long is it going to be. What the script's going to be kind of like, and they hire female voice actors, and they got girls that are famous voice actors in that. Well, they're famous in that scene. Yeah, so they can do these voices. They make the sexual sounds and shit. Some of them sound like good actresses. They sound like real actresses. To lip sync with the characters. So it might take the dude 2 months to make the video. It might be 15 minutes long. But he made a couple grand off of it. He might have made $3,000 off of that, and he was working on a bunch of them. So he's making a living.
Yeah.
Now I've heard that those same guys, they have access to a bunch of programs that allow them to do this, and those programs are extremely expensive. And that those guys are actually animators that are in Hollywood and work for Hollywood.
They're just doing that as a sideline.
They're doing that as a side gig.
Which, I wouldn't blame them. If you know how to do it, might
ones that look real good. Yeah.
Yeah, because some of them are absolutely movie quality.
Right.
Like all of them are okay, But, you can really tell the difference between people that are, like, top of the game. And
well, the easiest ones to do is where the characters are based upon a video game.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to... There's whole engines that'll help you make that. You can make it faster. Like, World of Warcraft is one of the most common ones.
Yeah, there's tons of
World of Warcraft. Elves and women and weird monsters. Monster females. Like female orcs and shit. They're all having orgies and shit. Werewolves. The girls are having sex with werewolves.
Remember that one where that woman was like in the woods and then she gets set upon by all the werewolves and then one of the werewolves is like fucking her and then like he drags her back to the cave by the knot. So she's like
dragging her back,
dragging her back by the vagina.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's cool.
They were worgans.
Oh, okay.
Which is like a werewolf, I think.
I mean,
I don't know that game. They were worgans. They were.
I've never played that game.
They were on all fours, but I think they could go bipedal.
Okay.
Look like black wolves. They took her back to the cave and had a whole orgy.
And she was all wore out.
Whole gangbang,
laying on the rock.
Yeah, and it had like a music, and it looks like it's happening in the game.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to do that. So, if it's based inside a video game, the production's faster. And then there's all kinds of voice acting that they can steal and clip it and turn it in, so they don't have to hire a voice actress. Now, the quality on that's spotty, too. Some of the guys are real good at it. The other guys are not that good.
CB said, what bar are you going to tonight? We're going to Barbarella, which is the same one we usually go to Saturday night, but once a month on Fridays, they do Momentum
Goth night,
which is the goth night.
Yeah.
The Saturday nights are 80s New Wave, which is also fun. But yeah, that's what we usually do. Since we're talking about video games, we finished watching Fallout last night. And I don't know when they're going to do a second season. I guess it got greenlighted. Might be a couple years. But that shit was good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Allison says, Tom, what's wrong with elves and women? That's a staple in my repertoire. I didn't say there's anything wrong with it.
Keebler elves are a bonus.
Keebler elves.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen any Keebler elves.
The elves that they're mostly showing from the video games are World of Warcraft elves. And it seems to be a bunch of different kinds of those.
Yeah.
And with human women and orcs, and it could be anything.
Yeah, that's what's fun about it.
Yeah, and they're about the size of a woman. I think they are the same size. I don't think they're smaller in World of Warcraft. I think they're the same size. They're just thinner, I think. Pointed ears, long pointed ears. Vampires are in there too.
Yeah, I think there is also vampires.
Yeah.
Murder Hornet.
Then they have some other kind of woman. It's a man. They have men too, but it's a woman that has legs on it like a satyr. But I think it's I don't think it's a goat. I think it's a fawn or a doe. Remember that? They're blue.
Kind of.
And they had legs like a deer.
Yeah.
I don't think they had horns though.
I don't remember.
I think the men do, but I don't think they ever showed those. It was weird. Just another, and they had a little tail, like a little deer tail. But they didn't have fur. The fur was just like from the knee down, I think. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Just some kind of mythological beast.
Murder Hornet said, I got video of Tom getting Tom. I'm going to share it. How funny would that be if somebody did a deep fake of you fucking yourself?
Yeah, it'd be funny.
That would be very funny.
Yeah, me diving straight off into my own ass. The other elves that the other elves that
I'd watch that.
The other elves that they fake a lot that are real popular is Link, the things from Zelda. Yeah. Link and Zelda, all those characters. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be pretty popular.
Yeah, there's lots of that, and the animation's good.
We usually end up watching the Warcraft ones because there's so much of it.
Yeah. We'd have that running in the background while we were working.
Yeah. We always had that on.
On another laptop.
Either that or one of those videos that's just like edited together.
Yeah.
Like that's like 2 hours long or something.
Yeah, just that way we didn't have to go up there and change because we were fucking working sometimes for 6 hours a night. 6 hours a day, 3 and 3.
Yeah, so you're just kind of sitting around, and then we just had that.
Sitting around, and working stream, mate. What sucks about it is the waiting. Just
yeah,
and then
a lot
at
of
a drop of a hat, some dude wants to jump in and fucking want some kind of show. You know, so you got to be like a stunt cock. Woman can like bullshit her way through it.
You need a shirt that says stunt cock.
The thing is about it is that the good thing about it is that most of those dudes didn't last but about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
So they can't handle this shit. Oh, okay, thank you. There you go. Fuck is it? Most dudes are quick, man. 5 minutes. We're trying to save money.
Well, I think that too.
Yeah. They show up dick in hand. They're already halfway there. Yeah. Fucking cheap bitches.
Well, you know.
Not all of them. Some of those dudes were in there for a long time.
It's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
I think we've had one in there we had one guy in there that was down almost 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's the longest one.
It was the longest one.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that was quite a lot of money.
Yeah. We made good money on that one.
CB said, I love it when we get goth women at the bar. Yeah. Tonight it's going to be all goth people.
It's all goth people, yeah.
At this place. Oh, I forgot to mention how fucking weird this was. So we went to Barbarella last Saturday for New Wave Night. And we were kind of among the first ones there. So we're pulling into the parking lot, which is almost empty. And in one of the parking spaces was a tiny car. And not like a regular car. It was like one of those little cars that you would like buy a toddler. You know, like the little cars that toddlers can drive around, like a little Barbie car. It wasn't a Barbie car, but you know what I mean. So it was kind of like one of those. And it was just parked in a parking space, like and all the parking spaces around it were empty. And I was like, one, somebody's going to run over that because you're not going to see it because it's dark. But I was just like, why is that parked there? And like, we walk over to look at it. And then in that parking lot, there's usually like a lot of like feral cats, like because there's like factory shit around there and people feed them, I guess. So sometimes you see them, like they'll come out and sometimes you can pet them, but they usually run away. And so 2 cats were out kind of hanging out by the car. And I said, maybe it's their car. I said, how funny would it be if they just jumped in there and drove off like the fucking cats? And it's just kind of like, so we didn't figure out why it was there. Like we went up to the door guy, who's a friend of ours. His name is JR. He's also a tattoo artist. And we were like, he's like, why were you guys walking over there? Because he couldn't see because there's like a hedge or something. Yeah. And I was like, there's a tiny little like a Barbie car like parked in one of I can't figure it out. And then I said, and then we saw the cats over there, and he's like, maybe it's their car. And I said, that's what I said. Yeah. But we still couldn't figure out why that was there. I still don't know.
I almost thought about taking it. I could have put that in the trunk. I think somebody stole it and wrote it down there. I mean, I think the battery died. But what am I going to do with it?
Well, nobody could ride in it unless they were a child. Yeah. It's toddler sized.
Yeah, I know.
A grown person couldn't fit it. Unless you rode it like a skateboard.
What was I going to do with it? But I considered taking it. Why? That'll fit in the trunk.
Why did you think that?
Because it was free.
Oh, for Christ's sake. It's not free.
It's just the Mississippi.
It belongs to somebody. I was just mystified as to why it was there. Because, like, no one else was there. And I'm like, obviously nobody drove this here unless they were 2. Or unless it was a cat. Maybe a cat drove it there. Like I said, maybe it was one of the cat's cars.
It wasn't that small. A small person could have taken it down there. A teenager could have sat on it and then just driven it just by putting one foot down on. You know, he wouldn't fit in this chair.
Yeah, you wouldn't fit in it. You'd have to sit
on the top of it and then just drive it with his foot on the accelerator. And I think that's what happened. I think somebody took it and then rode it down into that parking lot, and then it lost its charge. So then he just said, "Fuck it," left it, and kept walking.
I guess.
Yeah, somebody stole it.
It's just so strange. Yeah, because it was just there, like by itself, like in a parking space.
All right, so. Oh, and by the way, that damn fucking misfire light keeps coming on. Last time it went like a week without it coming on. Even went to the club and back and then just out of the blue, it fucking came on. It's running beautifully though. I don't know what the problem is.
And the whole time, and I knew this.
I was talking shit when it happened.
I knew it was gonna happen. We drove to the club and back last week, no problem.
Yeah.
We drove around all week, and
with
then
the restaurants.
Yesterday, and then like yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? Like we had to go up and drop a package off, and we were like, okay, well while we're up here, we'll eat at someplace, and I think we ate at Sonny's or whatever because that's right there. And while we were going, was it on the way there or on the way back? he was like, man, he's like, that light's off. I think I fixed it, blah, blah, blah. And I was just kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, that fucking shit's going to come back on.
It came on.
It came back on.
It's poltergeist. But I had I had put at least 100 miles on that car without it coming on. And it used to do it quick. It used to do it quick. It used to do it as soon as you hit about 70, it'd turn on. I don't know what it is. The last thing I did was I pulled the damn on the front of the engine on this on a Grand Marquis or a Crown Vic or a Lincoln Town car. That 4.6 liter engine is a fucking great engine. You can get some dudes have gotten 700,000 miles, damn near 1 million miles off that engine, off the same engine. Anyway, it's got a cam position sensor that's just held in there with one bolt, and it's on the end of a fucking plug. And all it is a magnet, and that magnet reads the cam and gives an accurate position to the ECM on what position the cam's in. They said pull that off and see if there's any sludge stuck to the back of that magnet. I pulled it off, and there was some. Wiped it off, sprayed some cleaner down in that hole just in case there's anything blocking it. There's nothing blocking it. Put it back into operation. Take 2 minutes to do it. Real quickly, the car cleaned up, man. Fucking started driving even smoother. Just glass smooth. Quiet. Car's quiet, smooth, strong, slow, kinda. I said, and then about 100 miles later, I goes, I guess that must have been it. There was a little bit of sludge on the back of it, stuck to the magnet. I thought maybe it wasn't getting a real accurate reading on that cam passing. There's a place on the cam. Light came on. I don't know what it is, man.
I think the car's just fucking with you at this point. Yeah. Like pristine.
I'm going to send it down to those guys and put it on the diagnostic machine. It runs it. They put more sensors in there. It's something real small, like a broken wire somewhere, or maybe some type of a leak somewhere in a line. Maybe EGR, exhaust gas recirculation. Something had to do with emissions. It's not major, it's something real minor. But I hate having those fucking lights turn on, because if you leave that shit running, if you have another engine code, you can't see it, because the light's already on. I don't like this little minor bullshit fucking me up.
John Smith said, I still say deep fake Tom as little Bo Peep. The day is coming. And a couple people said they would pay for that.
Yeah.
So,
I understand.
I might get you to
that should be hot as fuck. It'd have to be a deep fake, though.
You wouldn't do it for money?
No. Depends on what it is. Depends on what the script is.
I think it would be kind of funny.
It might be funny.
Yeah. I don't know if it's really my thing. Well, I don't know if it's my thing or not. I've never seen it, so I don't really know.
This dude's just fucking with me.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't care.
No, okay.
Case and Lee said, "Hey guys, have you guys watched Legion FX series, the one with Aubrey Plaza in it?" No, you're not the first person that's recommended that, but no, we haven't watched it yet. Like I said, we don't really watch a lot of series. We watch a lot of movies.
Well, that gets us on the one series we just watched.
Yeah, I already brought that up before.
Yeah, we want to talk about this one today. We saw Fallout.
Yeah,
the whole season,
which is on Amazon Prime.
If you haven't seen it, see it. It's free on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, that shit was badass. If you like the game series, you'll like the movie. I mean, they capture the tone, the quality's high, the acting is fucking fantastic. Not all the characters. It covers probably about 3 or 4 major characters are following their stories.
Yeah,
they kind of overlap sometimes. They come across each other, but it's all that same. It's good, real good. One dude that I like the best out of the story is this guy who's playing a 200-year-old ghoul. He's a gunfighter and a bounty hunter. They had to dig him up because they were punishing him.
I feel like he's everyone's favorite character.
Kept him down in the And he actually was around when the planet got destroyed in the atomic war. And he worked as an actor, and he was a famous cowboy, Western actor. But he also worked for Vault-Tec. So he knew about he knew the corporate, he knew the corporate heads of Vault-Tec. And he knew a lot of shit about that company and why everything went bad. he's not just some random bad guy. He's actually was important to the apocalypse. It's pretty good. And they had another guy who's kind of a untrustworthy character who is in this military cult called the Brotherhood of Steel. Basically, kind of weasels his way into being a knight, but he wasn't playing by their rules. But he was playing by a different set of rules, you know. And the knights weren't very good to the knight that he was serving was a shitbag anyway. So I think there's going to be a different story arc with that guy. I think he's going to be like a redemption arc. I think is how that guy's going to be. I think he's going to become a hero.
Yeah, because he's kind of leaning toward it, like as it's going on. Because like at first, he's kind of like he's a very morally gray character. Yeah. Well, everybody in this is kind of is.
Yeah. I played Fallout 3. I played New Vegas and 4. I didn't play 76. But it's so good. That one's so good. It's inspiring me to start fucking decorating the house in Vault Tech and fucking.
We were thinking about doing
Fallout shit, man. I was going, man, because I've been wanting to do that anyway. My man cave, that shit should have been Fallout themed from day one.
We can do the bedroom like that if you want. I'm not averse.
Yeah, because
we don't really have any art up in the bedroom yet. Like all of my art is in here. Yeah. Because this is my office.
But we got dark blue walls and black walls and fucking light blue walls. It would go along with a Vault Tech kind of fucking. Or a Fallout theme.
I think that'd be kind of fun.
I think it would be good.
Like to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff available from that.
Yeah, there's all kind of stuff.
I don't want the Fallout furniture because it's mostly 50s furniture. But they did have some of the shit was supposed to be more futuristic.
Well, some of the shit was cool though, because some of that mid-century stuff, which is 50s, but it was supposed to look futuristic, like you said, or like ultra modern. Right. Like I kind of like that look. Because I kind of remember, I mean, because I grew up in the 70s, so it's like I remember people having that furniture in their house still.
But we got a lot of lights in this house, colored lights and light effects. It looks like a damn Bollywood fucking discotheque in this fucking house. It's pretty cool. I mean,
it's kind of dark in here all the time. Yeah. Well, and in the daytime, all the windows are open because you know, all the curtains are open so the kitties can look out. But at night, you're just.
So we could put up a lot of.
It looks like a nightclub in here because it's just colored lights, but you can't really see anything.
So we could put up a lot of fake neon signs like fucking Fallout stuff and Nuka-Cola shit. All that shit would look cool.
That's what I see. I think that would be cool. Yeah. I'm not averse.
Yeah, Red Rocket. Red Rocket.
I love that they call the gas station
Red Rocket. If you guys know the Red Rocket in the U.S., that's a slang term for a dog's dick.
A dog rocket. Penis. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called
It's called a Red Rocket.
Right.
So
Red Rocket.
So well, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's
everywhere.
I don't know if that's slang in other countries too. Yeah. But yeah, like if you say Red Rocket in the U.S., that's a dog dick.
Yeah. Well, at least in the South. I don't know if it's like.
I'm pretty sure that's everywhere in the U.S. I think most people know that that's what that is. But yeah, like I said, I never presumed that other people know the same fucking slang as us. Yeah. So I just thought it was funny that they. Yeah. But I mean, the people that made the show, you could tell that the people that made the show were super into the game, and the attention to detail was really good. And like I said, I don't play the game, but I used to watch Tom play it all the time.
For hours and hours.
Like for hours and hours, because there's something really relaxing about the sound design of that game. Not just the music, like all that old school music, and like the whole aesthetic of it was really appealing to me. Yeah. But I was like, for some reason, I have like a weird, and this is an ASMR thing too, but you know the little clacking sound that the computer keys make.
Yeah. Like
for some reason, I love that sound. Yeah, so like whenever you were in there like trying to break codes or like something like that, I'm like, ooh, I don't know, I like that sound.
Trying to break through, you're trying to.
I don't know why I like that sound so much.
You're trying to get through the security on a Vault-Tec computer, computer system. You hear the keys going.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't sound quite like that, but I just like that clacking.
Yeah, clacking
sound. And they used that in the show, and I thought I was just like, oh, that made me so happy.
Yeah.
That they used all the same like sound effects.
Yeah, and the inside of the vaults look perfect. Even the art on the wall is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, they really did a good job. Like I said, if you look at like all the art direction on that shit was like amazing.
Yeah.
Like everything looked exactly like.
Yeah, they go to a Red Rocket service station. It's all fucked up. It looks like it's just right out of the game.
Yeah, it looks exactly like
exactly like the game.
I don't know where they shot most of this stuff, but all the post-apocalyptic landscapes and stuff.
Yeah, and they'll be walking along the bank of a lake or something, and dead trees and half-living trees, and then a big power station in the water, and they would go, which is like right out of the game, because a lot of stuff's kind of submerged or water's crept up on it, because the water lines changed a little bit. So just they have that in the movie. It looks like a real location. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah, everything in there looks like a real location.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they all look like sets that they built, like even like the town, which, like I said, looked like what they call Megaton in the game, but it's called Philly, but with an F, not like Philly like Philadelphia, but Philly like a baby horse. But it's just, it looked pretty much exactly like that, and like the gas station and all the landscapes and stuff like that, it looked really good. It looked just like, and honestly, this didn't even occur to me until this second. Is that they did put some monsters in there, like the rad roaches and stuff like that, and you do get to see a gulper. Yeah. And the gulper in this looks really good. Yeah. I mean, they did a good job of that. But I think it was, and they had like one of the bears too. Yeah. Because one of the bears attacked that night.
Yeah, mutated bear.
Like the mutated bear. But it's like they kind of went easier on the monsters. They're in there, but they're not, and they like heavier on the characters. But I didn't even like notice. Yeah. Because all the character shit was so good and the story was so good.
They're super mutants, but they haven't shown them yet.
Yeah, and like obviously there's ghouls because one of the main character is a ghoul, and there's feral ghouls too.
Yeah, and there's also fiends.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, very briefly.
Yeah, a fiend is like a kind of like a Mad Max type person, but they're cannibals and they're kind of mutated a little bit. It's called a fiend. They eat people.
And they have, I don't know if you caught this detail, but they load their weapons with rotted human teeth.
I didn't notice that. Which
because remember, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Fallout.
Talking about the shotguns?
Yeah, well, remember when one of the fiends like shot Maximus?
That's right. The tooth was in his
and arm. They pulled out the tooth like in the vault. Like they pulled it. They said we have a rotted human tooth like in your shoulder, and that because it was in their weapon.
Was that an attempt at turning somebody into a ghoul?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It didn't. I mean, I guess it didn't work.
See, in the game, you can find machines to help you, like reloading benches to make ammo. Yeah. And if you find certain recipes for things, it'll allow you to make certain kinds of ammunition. Yeah. So that might have been some kind of special made ammunition. I didn't ever found that in the game where you could find ghoul teeth and load them into a shotgun.
I mean, that might very well be a thing that's in the game. About. But
I had a lot of recipes for food, that you could, things that you normally wouldn't be able to eat, and you could put them all together to make certain kinds of stew.
Right. Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
And if you carry that with you and you eat it, it heals you. It would heal you more than a lot of other stuff like a stim pack, and then it would like maybe give you special abilities for a few hours. You know what I mean? Like the ability to notice things or awareness or perks. Perks and shit. But really, you make that shit because you get experience points for making it. Yeah. Because you have to collect all that shit. So you're collecting a lot of shit, and you can just make a bunch of fucking soups and shit, and then you can sell them.
Yeah, that too.
So,
get some caps. But that's like, for some reason, like I said, all this stuff, like where you're wandering across the wasteland and like fighting monsters and stuff, like death claws or whatever, it's like, that's kind of cool, but it's like, honestly, I had more fun watching you just like going around scrounging for shit, and then coming back and building stuff with it, and then like
making shacks,
and like decorating your home base. Like that was like we scrounged this rug from somewhere. Like I kind of got into that.
In Fallout 4, there's a place called Home Plate. It's at a stadium, and I have a house there, kind of an apartment. And man, I've got all different kinds of powered armor.
It's tricked out. You got video games in there?
Video games. I got a whole video game arcade, light effects. In there. Yeah, I got a whole video arcade of all the games. I think it's like six or seven of them. And you can play those games in the game. So you're in the game playing a video game. Yeah. One of them's like Missile Command. The other one's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons game called Gronak. It's about Conan. Gronak's like Conan. I forgot all the other ones. I forgot what.
Yeah, I remember you had like a bunch of them.
There's a bunch of them.
But I used to like really enjoy just like sitting there watching you scrounge around, like bringing stuff back and like arranging stuff,
making stand-up arcade stuff, and having to wire things. You got to wire things around, get connected to the power source. You got to figure out new ways to fucking to wire the inside of the building so it looks decent. And then you can make artwork. A bunch of different ways you can do it. You can make stuff that's brand new. So you have a couch. You can find couches. If you have enough wood, you can make a couch, but it's going to look fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay? It's going to look like it's worn out.
Right.
Like something that you would find.
It's going to look like a Fallout couch.
But there's other ways. I forgot how I did it. I haven't played it in a long time. Where with the right skill set or perks, or I don't remember the right stuff, you can make that same couch, but it looks brand new, like from the factory. So it changes. So your apartment or whatever it is you're making doesn't look post-apocalyptic. It looks brand new. So there's a lot of that. But I was just getting into that. But you don't have time to waste with all that. Like, fuck it, I'm going to go complete a mission. I was making weapons. Making machine guns and rocket launchers and lasers. Laser rifles. Plasma rifles.
I would be curious to know, in the TV show, did they build that armor?
No, you find it.
No. I mean, in the TV show, like the special effects department.
Oh yeah, that was real.
That looked like real armor, like functional armor.
Yeah, it was something you can get. It was a costume.
It wasn't CGI.
No, well, when it opened up in the back, it looked like it was.
That part might have been CGI, but like the people walking like in the suit and like walking around in it, that looked like a real suit.
Yeah,
to me.
In the game, you tend to find those.
Yeah.
Find them abandoned.
And I like in the show that they also have it looks exactly the same as it does in the game, where you take it, like, places you can go to, like, fix it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like an armor station.
Yeah.
It looks like a big, heavy-duty lift, like a hydraulic lift, like something you'd use to lift up a car, but it lifts the armor up, and you can work on it in there, and on it, and like a big, giant jack stand or something.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And, but if you have metal and certain kinds of metals and coppers and things that you salvage, you can rebuild the armor. And if you have certain skills, you can improve things, you know what I mean, and make ballistic weaves, mesh undersuits and shit, and make this badass fucking powered armor powered by a fucking fusion core. And you got to find those. You find those usually out of buildings. Sometimes you can buy them though. Eventually, once you get to a certain level, they're not rare. You can buy them. They have them just at the shops. But fusion energy. And I was thinking, being ex-infantry, would a suit like that be desirable in warfare? And I was thinking, well,
depends on what kind of warfare it is, I guess.
Yeah. If you had those, which you could probably make something like that now, the problem is always going to be the power. You wouldn't be able to fly and do the jumps and fucking have rockets on it, you know. You couldn't do that. You'd be carrying around too much fuel, and it wouldn't be worth the problem. Wouldn't be worth the trouble. I have to ask myself, would those suits have made a difference to the Ukrainians in Ukraine? And the answer is no. It wouldn't have made a difference. If you put that suit on an infantry, because you would take main battle tanks. Any main battle tank you gave them, it was destroyed with a little quadcopter drone. Cheap little drone. And warfare is always about economics. You're using a cheap weapon to destroy a very expensive weapon. Especially if it's a cheap, quickly produced weapon. Destroying an expensive weapon that is slow to make. If you had that power armor, that you're going to be dealing with a situation like that. It's slow to make. It's expensive. It's not as good as a tank. You'd be seen in modern warfare. Nothing is hidden anymore because of satellites. Everything's given off an IR signature. The drones are real good. They can just see a person. They'd be able to see those suits, and they'd focus on them. They'd just send a bunch of those little quadcopter drones, and they'd blow them all up with the dudes in them. Hit them with RPG rounds and destroy them. And they'd do it with something cheap. So, no, it wouldn't have made a difference.
Well, I like that in the show. I mean, basically just one dude has a suit.
Yeah.
And the suit is kind of tied to the whole Brotherhood of Steel thing, which is a whole not a cult necessarily, but
It's a cult.
kind of like that.
It's a religious cult.
Right.
And it's a military religious cult.
Right. So it's like, so he's the only one that has that, and he's like super obsessed with it and everything like that. I think they struck a really good balance. Like I said, I'm not a super geek about the game or anything, but like, Tom plays it a lot.
Yeah.
And so I watched a lot of hours of it. And so I know a lot of the lore and stuff. So it's like, I feel like they struck a really good balance of all the good shit from the game. Like there's a really good story. They focused on basically like 3 or 4 main characters. There's a bunch of side characters too, obviously, because it's a series, but they kind of focus pretty strongly on like 3 really interesting characters that are all really different. And there's some monster stuff in it, there's some stuff like that, but they are not focusing on that. They're focusing on the characters, they're focusing on the mission and the overlapping missions of the characters. And I think they just did a really good job. Like the aesthetic of the show looks almost exactly like the game. Everything that's in there looks exactly like the game. Yeah. Like the armor looks exactly, the guns look exactly, like the insides of the vaults look exactly like that.
Yeah.
And the tone of it is good too. Like it's funny.
Yeah.
But then like it's,
so is the game.
But the game is funny
the game
too.
Has that in it too.
But it's also super dark, and then it's like, and it's super gory.
Yeah.
I was happy about that. I was not expecting it to be that gory.
Yeah.
It's not as gory as a horror movie, but it has its moments.
Yeah, and our rank,
I mean, people get like their heads squished and
the power armor,
and the dude that got his foot fucked up. That was pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Now, before anybody jumps on me about the fucking power armor. Power armor in the context of the game and power armor in the context of the movie was good. Yeah, you'd want that. But how they were using it was this. If you were in power armor and you were fighting dudes that didn't have it, hand to hand and with small arms, you'd have a huge advantage over them. You'd be a man-sized tank, basically. Yeah. Which, it'd be good with that.
And you can't really be shot. Like, it does, there are weaknesses.
It does damage to it. Eventually it'll shoot through. But, yeah. So it would be good for that, and you'd be able to just crush people, run through them like a damn locomotive too, which they show that. And
they just pop or like squish someone's head. You can just squish someone's head like that.
In a military situation, they show it being successfully used and it's realistic. They pack 3 or 4 of those things into basically a helicopter or an Osprey, and they run up close to the target area and they insert them there. They don't. Some of them look like they jumped out. Some of them look like they were lowered out on wires, which I used to do that. I was part of the 101st Airborne Division, where you really, when the helicopter can't land, you throw out cables and you Swiss rappel down. You never actually do it unless you're in a jungle. Okay, but you have to get your Bullwinkle fucking badge, which is your air assault wings. You got to be able to.
I love that they call it that.
Yeah, it looked like Bullwinkle. Like a helicopter wings. It looked like Bullwinkle coming at you.
Right.
So you have to do a 200-foot chopper.
Gee, Rocky.
You have to do 200-foot. I think it's 2.
Watch me pull this rabbit out of my hat.
Yeah. And then you have to understand. Never mind. Anyway. So I'm air assault qualified. That's what they were doing. They were using them for air assault, like mechanized air assault. You fly in with a bunch of choppers. You drop them off right there near the target. Everybody runs out. They bash down doors, and then they start doing room clearing. All right, with a mixed group of guys in armor and behind them, guys without armor. It would work for that. It would work for that. Here's the weakness in modern warfare of today. You'd have them all loaded up in them choppers, and they'd never make it to that target because they'd be seen by a satellite, and they'd send hypersonic missiles and shoot down every one of them choppers. So you'd never make it. That's what I was saying. It wouldn't be useful today. Nothing. Everything's visible.
But in this situation,
there was no hypersonic missiles. They were. They didn't have satellite.
I mean, it's post-apocalyptic.
It's post-apocalyptic.
Sure.
So in that situation, yeah.
There is some weird futuristic technology, and there is kind of sci-fi technology that doesn't really exist, but it's still like retro futurism.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I really like that.
It's like
aesthetic.
2250 something or other. It looks like the 1950s, the future version of the 1950s is what it looks like. I think it's 2254 or something.
Or it might be later than that, maybe 2270 or something like that. I don't remember what the year was, but yeah. But I just really like, the thing that I always liked about Fallout was that I love look, I'm a graphic designer, so I love commitment to theming, and I love that they took the 1950s retrofuturism, like optimistic kind of thing, but like also the atomic age stuff, and like we're able to modernize that and put it like in its own kind of aesthetic, and then like marry that to like a post-apocalyptic aesthetic. Like I'm kind of really into that. I think that's why I kind of like that game so much. Hugo says I've only played Fallout Vegas.
Yeah, New Vegas is good.
Yeah, like Tom's got most of the game. Like you've got Fallout 4, you got Vegas,
3,
you got
New Vegas 4, and then all the expansions.
Watching the show made him want to watch. I want to play again.
Yeah, I went back and checked him to see what the status of the last game was. Yeah, Kaysen says, "Oh, I never played it. I want to play it." Yeah, start with.
It's fun. It's fun.
It's available for PC. Okay, and I think all the expansions are. Start with Fallout 3. It's basically the same game as 4. It's just there's tweaks, the little improvements as they went. But start with 3 because there's a lot of stories and a lot of missions, and it's real good. And it can be. It's been updated. There's a bunch of expansion packs for it. Last I remembered. So you play Fallout 3, and then you can get Fallout New Vegas, and then 4. 76 Fallout 76. I haven't played it, but you could probably get all those 3 in a bundle, probably for a good deal. 3, Vegas, and 4. They're all good.
Yeah, I mean, I love the aesthetic of it. I love the world building of it.
Yeah.
It's just everything about it is just so appealing to me.
Each game is big.
Yeah, they're massive.
Like Morrowind. It's like Morrowind. You know, it's open maps. You can go anywhere. The expansion packs open up new things that are off the map. Side stories, and the side stories are big. You know,
and honestly, like I said, I would watch Tom and like he would just like hang out like for hours. You don't have to do a mission.
Yeah.
Like you have a bunch of missions going, but you don't have to do it right now. You can just hang out in your house and make stuff.
Yeah.
Like for as long as you want. It's just like so. I like that kind of free.
It's got good music. Chill. The music's chill. You can put on music because you got radios in there. You got a radio on your Pip-Boy, so you can listen to music. Listen to music in that world. Listen to the radio stations in that world. Yeah. Which they kind of go into a little bit in the series as well. Like they do like a counter. One guy that runs a radio that is all fiddle music. Yeah. Yeah. Which is kind of awesome. I really liked that scene. But yeah, the use of music in this was really good too. They really kind of captured real good music.
Yeah, because it's like it's all kind of that old 50s you know, kind of music.
Some of it's almost 30s and 40s.
Yeah, like older. And it's just like I don't know, it just evokes like such a I don't even know if it's nostalgia because it's not really what happened. You know what I mean? But it's because it's alternate timeline. But I don't know. There's just something about it that I always really liked. And like I said, I love the commitment to the theming. I love the world building. And I think they did like a really, really good job like with the show. And like all the characters are good too. Like all the main characters. Like you give a shit about them. And like you want to see them succeed and... I don't know. I thought they did like I don't have any complaints, honestly, about the show. I just enjoyed the shit out of it. And I guess like a lot of people did. Mm-hmm. And you know how cranky people are about series based on video games, especially something as iconic as Fallout. Yeah. So it's like if pretty much everybody is saying, yeah, this is some good shit.
They captured it.
Then it's some good shit. Because you know if they had made one little mistake somewhere, people would be crying about it.
They captured the game well. Yeah, Kaysen, if you haven't played the game, man, if you want to just watch the whole season of Fallout first, you'll
I mean, like honestly, too. I think it's... I don't know. The series is good on its own. But I think you would appreciate it more...
Have you played the game?
If you played the games. Because there's like a lot of Easter eggs and there's like a lot of stuff in there that they don't necessarily call attention to. Yeah. But you're just kind of like, oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Like, you know what I mean? So...
They also provide more details about what Vault-Tec's sales strategy was.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I like that they expanded on it.
They actually captured a lot of fucking real hardcore American culture. Especially the corporate culture. Talked about it before. America after the Second World War, during the Second World War, changed a lot. Okay? That was the beginning of the military-industrial complex. and Hollywood and the Congress was involved in that at the same time. It all merged into one thing. Some people would call that fascism. Okay. Most of these political terms people throw around really don't mean much. They're more like magical words. It's just that the corruption inside the military-industrial complex and in the American at the federal system, at the federal levels is very high. The corporations control the government, basically. They kind of own it, and that's what's happening in this. Vault Tech, kind of like a good analogy of, say, like BlackRock, which is the real-life version of Wayland Industries. It owns 80% of the fucking, basically the entire wealth of the West. It's a huge fucking corporation run by a guy named Larry Fink, who's a weird fucking dude. If you see interviews with him, all right. Vault Tech is like that, okay, and they explain why certain things were a certain way in the game. Like, why were all the vaults? Why were some of them experiments, and why were they all different? It's because it was in the. You'll find out when you see, they show you what the board of Vault Tech, what they were like and what they were thinking. Basically, it was in the spirit of competition. The corporation basically owned most of the government, or basically controlled it. All right. They saw themselves, they were a hardcore corporation, but they saw themselves as capitalist. But when you have capitalism and the state merging, it's kind of like what you had in the Soviet Union. So there's kind of a crossover there. They wanted each little corporate executive had his own little fiefdom and his own group of vaults, and he was going to run them his own way. Some of those vaults would be different experiments to try to find the best way to run a vault. That's why in the game you're finding these hidden vaults. Sometimes they're vacant, sometimes there's people still in them, but they're kind of different. Some of them, the people have turned on one another and killed each other in there. Some of them are like virtual reality, primitive virtual reality. Other ones are more like along the lines of like mind control. Some of them just look kind of normal farming communities, but they're in like they might have like you look out the window, you're underground, but you look out the window, it looks like it's outside, but it's actually just a set, make you think you're outside, so you're not getting depression. But it's good, man. I thought it was great. They were talking about the movie, or the series kind of gets into the corporate nature of America's government. And it kind of, I don't want to say it satirizes it, but it's good. I think it's good for Americans to be aware, and other people to be aware how powerful corporations actually are. And that if you let scientists just run shit without any oversight or any kind of fucking anybody's to come on, to give them ethics about, no, that's immoral. If you just let scientists run shit, they'll do human experimentations. That's happening in the vault. But I don't know. Let's see what everybody says. Oracle says that Linda Carter provided vocals for some of the songs in Fallout. In the game or in the movie? Because in the game, some of those sounded like real original songs. Like there's a lot of Ink Spots songs from the Ink Spots. They sounded real. They sounded authentic. I don't think they were covers. Some of them, though, were fake songs, if I remember correctly. All right, Casey says, all right, Tom, I'm going to watch Fallout after I finish watching Firing, which I'm currently into. Okay. Fringe, that's what it is. All right, Fringe, that's what he's talking about.
Okay, watch your...
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I think I'm going to drink much more. What time is it?
Sorry.
What time is it?
8:44.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
about another 45 minutes. We're gonna give you a 2-hour show tonight, folks.
I mean, we got to leave at like
9:30.
9:30.
9:30, which means we got to end the show probably around 9:20.
Something like that. But yeah. Oracle says in the game, Linda Carter plays Magnolia in Fallout 4.
Oh yeah, okay.
I didn't actually know that.
realize that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. They're talking about The Strain, which I need to watch that too. Because that's Guillermo del Toro, yes? I can't believe I haven't seen that yet. But like I said, I mean, we'll get around to it. Hey, Larry, what's up? You're both looking amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're going out after. Going to Memento Mori, the monthly goth night. And let me see. Yeah, I kind of, like, I don't know. Like I said, I kind of feel like the Fallout show is good just on its own merits, but I think that if you played the games or you knew shit about the games, it's, like, a lot better. But I don't know, you know. I was pretty familiar with the games, so I don't know what it would be like for somebody that didn't know anything about the games. Have you heard of the series on Netflix called Bodkin? I have not. What's it about? I think the last thing... We have Netflix, but I usually watch true crime shit on there, to be honest. If Tom says I don't care, I'm like, okay, I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to watch this 18-episode true crime series about horrible murders. So, and you can't complain. Do we know anyone that has also experienced paranormal activity? You know, that's a good question. I feel like we probably do, but I don't know. I feel like it's something that, like, a lot of people don't talk. Now, we had friends over when we had paranormal activity happen in our house, like our old house. Phantom asked if we knew anyone that had experienced paranormal activity.
Yeah, us. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean other than us, like friends of ours. And I'm like, I can't really think of anyone offhand other than Jen and Dimitri, who were at our house when paranormal shit happened.
That one guy who had that out of body experience, guy from the bar.
Oh yeah, I think I know.
What's his name?
I can't remember. That was a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said something. He described having an out of body experience while he was asleep. It was just dead on. He said some things that was just like, yeah. Things that you have to have it happen to you before you, because it kind of reminded me what it was like. Yeah. What was his name?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I haven't seen that guy in a long time. He doesn't come out much more.
Yeah, Oracle said Bodkin is a mix of a true crime podcaster story and a supernatural element. It's set in Ireland. I just saw the promo for it earlier tonight and immediately wondered if you'd be interested. I will probably get around to watching that because that sounds like right up my alley, honestly. But, you know, like I said, I got so much stuff I got to go through. Like, I don't even think we have Netflix, but that's usually, like, the last thing I check, you know? Like, I was on it a lot the other day because, like I said, I rewatched all 4 seasons of Stranger Things because I know that the fifth season has come out because I love Stranger Things, but we'll see how that goes. I'm trying to think of, like, other stuff I watched on there. I was really into Dark. Although, didn't the same makers of Dark, didn't they do another series that was, like, a year, like 18-something? And I always meant to watch it, but I never did. I don't hear as much about it as I did about Dark. I loved fucking Dark, though. I watched that twice. That whole series. And they're talking about... Tammy's talking about the interview with the vampire show. Yeah, we saw the first couple of episodes, and I really liked it, but it's like I just never got around to finishing it, I guess.
I thought it was okay, but it wasn't Interview with the Vampire. It wasn't Anne Rice stories, so I was like, yeah, okay, but... So it was just so different from the book. I wanted them to do, like, the book.
Yeah, I mean, eventually maybe somebody will.
So it ended up being basically a knockoff, basically.
Yeah, Case and Lee said their vampire genre I'm not really into. Yeah, it's like, I feel like I was into vampire horror a lot more, like in the 80s and maybe 90s.
Less to choose from.
But
yeah,
I've gotten like less into it. Like, don't get me wrong, like if horror is good, I'll watch. I don't give a shit what it is. I'll watch pretty much anything. But I'm always kind of like disappointed. I think I said this on one of my book reviews where I just picked a book at random that sounded kind of cool, and then like I was reading it and I was like, oh, it's a vampire story. Like I kind of got bummed out. It was still a good book. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it's always kind of like, it's just kind of like, you know, like I also have this, like if I have a horror story and like I get to the end and I'm like, oh, the bad guys are aliens. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just kind of, it doesn't mean the whole thing's bad. It's just like disappointing.
Yeah, hey, Kason, if you ever seen the movie Predators, the one where they end up on the game planet, where the Predators were bringing all the aliens in and they were hunting them down. In that movie, one of those guys, one of the human guys, was a prisoner on death row. He was in that orange jumpsuit. That particular guy plays the ghoul gunslinger, gunfighter in Fallout.
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins. He's fucking great, man.
He's in a lot of stuff.
He's really good.
He's like the best part. I mean, everything about Fallout is good, like the show, but he's like easily the best part of it.
And he has a southern accent. He starts doing his fucking shit, you know. I'm like, I said, man, that dude's fucking good. His accent is fucking clean, man. And I said, that dude must be British. Because only the British can really fake our accents so far, you know, that I've been seeing.
Which is so strange.
Yeah,
because it doesn't really work the other way around.
Other non-Southerner Americans, they can't do it, but the British can do it.
I don't know why that is. It's so weird.
Because they care about it. So
they
try to replicate it. But his accent is fucking great. So I thought he was British. I checked it. No, he's from Alabama, right next to Mississippi.
So he's not faking
it. Of course, that motherfucker's the best thing in this movie. Of course, he's from Alabama. He fucking pulls it off, man. He's good. He's real good at it. But all the characters are good. But he's the most compelling one.
And again,
he has the longest story.
Yeah, because he's been around a long time.
Been around 200-something years.
Since before the nuclear war.
Yeah. You become a ghoul.
Because he's a ghoul.
You become a ghoul when you get poisoned by certain types of radiation. Even in the game, they don't quite know how you become what makes a ghoul. But you kind of become like an undead.
Essentially, yeah.
Essentially. You can take massive damage and not die.
Like a zombie, but they still have all their memories and they're still like a person pretty much. But
the feral ghouls don't.
Well, not the feral ghouls, but just the regular.
Most ghouls are mindless, just like a zombie. They attack.
And the thing
real fast.
And the thing about it is that if you're a ghoul, you have to keep giving yourself like this medication,
injections, right, to keep you from
going feral. If you go feral, you're feral.
Once you're feral, you can't reverse it.
Right.
So this particular guy's been able to keep, it's like a radiation-based disease. He's been able to keep himself under control, so he still knows who he is.
Yeah, he still has memories.
Still has his own personality.
Right.
And but he can take a lot of damage, and it won't kill him. And he doesn't die of old age. He's immortal. That's why he's living so long. Kind of like a vampire.
Yeah, everybody's pointing out all the other stuff that he was in. Phantom said he played the character Laughter in the film American Ultra, starring your boy, Jesse Eisenberg. Tammy said he was in Justified, a very southern show. Yeah, I remember. I haven't seen it, but I remember everybody talking about that. And Phantom said a young Walton Goggins made a couple appearances in the TV show In the Heat of the Night. Wow, I remember that show. That was a long time ago. And he was in the cop show The Shield.
I saw him on Predators. And
yeah, he was in that too. He's been in a million.
Yeah, that's the only time I'd ever seen him until this. I couldn't believe that the same dude says, man, that dude could actually act. He was fucking great.
Well, like I said, he's one of those like character actors that even if you don't know his name, you're like, oh, it's that guy. Yeah. Like, he's always good in everything.
Yeah.
But he's in like everything. Like, he's in a million things. And it's just like, that's so funny that he's like that guy. I wonder if he knows that. But I kind of feel like Fallout, that might be, I know he's probably older and stuff like that, but this might be like his big breakout because every motherfucker,
like, damn.
There's memes about the shit already. It's just kind of like everybody is talking about him in this show.
He's real intense. He's real cruel. He's real intelligent. And he's just got mega swag. All right, and
he has the best lines in this.
Yeah, and 200 years ago, he was a star in Old West movies, playing the hero.
Yeah.
Now he's a real gunfighter, a real fucking bounty hunter. He's a ghoul. He can't be hurt, and he's a black hat now. He's a bad guy. But there's a lot of coolness to him. You know.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you
he's definitely a
slowly-
bad guy.
You start
but-
hearing his backstory of what turned him bad and shit. Yeah.
But he's like an understandable
you
bad
understand
guy.
it? Yeah. Yeah, he's very,
He's one of those bad guys, and we talked about this on the Hybristophilia show. He's one of those bad guys that you know deep down, he's a good dude.
Well, he's very cool. He's
Yeah.
extremely cool.
Like he's only doing this because of circumstances,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's just got sick of this shit. And just,
Well, he fucks you over because you're weak.
Yeah,
That's the world he comes from.
Yeah,
You're
that's what
weak. I'm
you
supposed to fuck
understand.
you up.
You
Yeah.
understand like where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he's kind of towards the end. You start to detect that maybe he's got some soft spots in him because he wasn't always like that. He got that way.
yeah, he was just a regular ass person. He was an actor.
Yeah.
Before the nuclear bombs fell. But then, like, because they do a lot of backstory with him, like a lot of flashbacks, like from before the nuclear war, about him.
But as far as a gunfighter go, as far as an actor playing a gunfighter role, I gotta say, man, blows Clint Eastwood out of the fucking water. And I liked Clint Eastwood like an Unforgiven.
Damn,
this guy's much better. Much better. There's something always about Clint that he's a very slightly built guy. He doesn't really look like he'd hurt you. This guy does. He's mean, man. he's mean.
very
Yeah.
mean.
He's mean. Yeah.
Well, and the thing about, like, and I love, I like a lot of the Clint Eastwood westerns and stuff like that, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about it is that Clint Eastwood's character, I mean, he's very stoic, he's very, macho man. They don't really... But see, the thing about it is that this character is a lot more...
He's expressive.
Self-aware.
Yeah.
Like, he's a lot more, like you said, a lot more expressive. And I think there's something more for the audience to latch onto. Like, he's not just a cipher, an enigma. Like, and I think that it's good that they kind of give some backstory, like, what he was like before.
Yeah.
Before he became a goal, before the nuclear war. So you could kind of see where he was coming from.
Right.
And he's not really that different.
Right.
Back then to now, but it's just kind of like, it's really interesting. Like, I think his arc is the most interesting thing about the show, to be honest.
I would say he is as good as a Southern bad guy as Merle Dixon was. I liked Merle Dixon. He was just a trashy, white trash, mean
Well, I've
motherfucker,
known some real
man.
people like
But
that.
I liked him. Yeah. And in the end, he redeemed himself.
Yeah.
This guy's like that, but he's higher class. He's like a wealthy fucking gunslinger, slick, real smart. He's fucking got a mouth on him too. You know what I mean? He can fuck you up just by the shit that he says to you, and he can fight. He's a real good shot. And he was in the war before he was an actor. He wore the T-45 power armor. He was an airborne soldier before he was an actor. So he wasn't a fake. He was just a lot of the fucking tough guys in the movies of the 50s in the United States were World War II veterans. So that's why they got him as a veteran.
Yeah.
In his movie, because it's kind of a replay of World War II, 1950s, that area.
Yeah.
That area.
It's that. Like I said, if you haven't played the games, it's like an alternate history, but like a 1950s Cold War aesthetic, but that the nuclear war really happened.
Yeah.
But they don't really... I don't remember, like, in the game, did they ever give a specific timeline of, like, when the nuclear war happened?
Yeah.
Was it in the 50s?
So no, the nuclear war happened in like 2250 something.
Oh, okay, so it was much later.
2270. Yeah.
So it's just like an alternate...
It's an alternate universe.
It's
an alternate universe.
where everything was, like, 50s.
Yeah, their
stuff.
1950s wasn't the same 1950s we had.
Yeah, like, okay, yeah, so that's what I was thinking.
No.
Because it's just, like, not...
It's-
Like, there's some recognizable stuff from the 50s, but it's not necessarily the actual 1950s.
Yeah, it's total alternate universe. But it is American culture.
Right. But like I said, that's what I like about it. I like that they kind of took that idea.
No, excuse me. It wasn't 2250 something. It was... It might have been their version. Somebody who knows the game real well. The game is happening in 2250. It might have happened in No, because their 1950s was actually technologically ahead.
Yeah.
Might not have been 2250. It might have been 2350 or something like that.
Now I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna look that shit up on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what the timeline is on it,
Right.
or like I said, if it's just like a.
It's way in the future, and
Yeah.
they didn't have the same 1950s we had.
Right, but that's what I mean. But that's what's cool about it is that you have like this all old school. An old school look and an old school technology next to like super sci-fi shit like cold fusion that we don't actually have.
They didn't have internet,
right?
As you know it. They had intranet, where where desktop computers could be connected to other desktop computers.
Yeah, you could like message people.
Yeah,
and stuff.
in other parts.
But it's old school. It looks like
yeah,
just like green text on a black screen, like in the 80s.
But they didn't have
like that.
Wireless internet, and they didn't have, and it was very low graphics. The thing is, though, is that, and you find out in the game, is like the priority of the computer systems that they were using was robustness, so they could survive nuclear warfare. And those computers, you could go into ruins that had been sitting there for 200 something years, and the computers still worked. You know,
right?
So it did work. The idea wasn't entertainment or, you know what I mean, fucking multimedia. They weren't doing that. They still had television, and they had videotape.
Yeah,
but it looked like something out of the 50s, kind of.
Yeah. Like I said, they committed to this theming of like everything looks like it came from the 50s.
Yeah.
Even though some of the technology is obviously way beyond like what they actually had in the 50s.
And the video games that they had looked like very early 80s, late 70s, you know. None of it was in color.
Right.
The video games either.
They have a very specific, and it's like me, like I said, I'm a graphic designer, so it's like I always think in terms of, what did the style book of that look like? I'm sure it was like this huge thing where it's just kind of like they were explaining like the timeline, and it's just kind of like, well, we want this kind of look, but you can't have this and you can't have that, but we are going to have this and we are going to have that. But I get what they were going for. Like I immediately resonated with that. I think like the first time that I saw Tom playing a Fallout game, I was just kind of like, I immediately got the aesthetic they were going for.
Yeah.
Which is not real, but it's based on a real aesthetic, but it's like an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
But they really did a good job of like capturing that. Phantom says, we're talking to me, would you ever review the film Sorority Babes at the Slimeball Bowl-orama? I will probably get around to it. I've seen that movie multiple times, actually. It's a great movie. It's cheesy. It's fun. Linnea Quigley's in it. She's always a highlight. So yeah, I might do that.
Does she get egged?
Well, she does. That's the only reason that you
put Linnea Quigley in.
Although I met her once at a horror convention, and she is rad as shit.
She had a killer body, man.
She did, yeah.
Fucking body's just fantastic.
And she was not shy about just.
That was her job. Just to
sure,
take her
she's
clothes
like,
off.
all right.
Take her clothes off in horror movies and fucking do a character.
And like I said, she seemed like one of those people, because and I've talked about this before. I'm a big horror nerd. So it's just kind of like, I have a lot more respect for actors that really actually genuinely like horror movies and want to be in horror movies.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's some contingent. A lot of actors start out in horror movies because, it's easy to make low budget horror movies. Like, look, fucking Tom Hanks started out in horror movies. Johnny Depp started out in horror movies. Like, all the big actors, most of the big actors, started out in horror movies, like low budget ones. But a lot of them are just kind of like, oh, well, I don't really want to stay in that because it's too confining, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, so if somebody comes along and saying, you know what, I just really like horror movies and I just want to be in horror movies, then I respect that a lot more. So I will always dig an actor that is just going to be in the shit because he loves that shit. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. I think that's cool. So I think like Linnea Quigley, I don't know if she ever got asked to be in any fucking $300 million movie or anything like that, but she seemed to really dig horror movies. She seemed to really like horror fans, and she had no problem at all just being in all the. She didn't care how crappy they were. She's like, yeah, you want me to show my tits? All right. You want me to get impaled by some antlers? All right. She just, I don't know. She just seemed like really cool to me. Let's see. Well, they're talking about vampire movies. Phantom says she doesn't get nude in that. I must be thinking about. I'm probably thinking about that other one that she was in. The only film where she doesn't. But Brink Stevens and Michelle Bauer get naked in it, who are also scream queen. Yeah. Okay. Man, I remember Brink Stevens. She was in a bunch of stuff too. Like she would always get naked also. CB said Jamie Lee Curtis said she wears her Halloween badge with pride. Well, see, that's awesome. That's awesome. I feel like for a little while she didn't want to be typecast, which I get it. But I think that's maybe why I like actors that are just willing to be in horror movies all the time, because yeah, you are going to get typecast. Probably not as much anymore, but back in the day you would absolutely get typecast. And they're like, well, we can't put you in like a big Hollywood movie. You're that horror person, you know? It was like that. Yeah, Phantom said Linnea Quigley did horror exercise videos. She did. Yeah, I think I rented one time, like a long time ago, out of curiosity. Like, because it was in the video store. Yeah, she did, like Jane Fonda workout, but it was like a horror workout.
Yeah. Was she wearing a bikini?
Well, it was like a 80s
workout
aerobics kind of outfit. Like with the high waisted. If I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Because I did rent it because I was like, I got to see this shit. Come on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So, fucking Linnea Quigley. What was the other one the one that she was in? Shit. I'm too drunk to remember right now. Night of the Demon. Night of Demons.
I don't really remember that one.
No, that was the one that had the Bauhaus song in it, Stigmata Martyr, and it's like had that girl Angela, and she's like dancing and the thing. They had the party at the funeral home or whatever, like the Halloween party.
Yeah, that's right.
And everybody gets, and then like Linnea Quigley like sticks the lipstick in her tit, like after she turns into the. I can't believe I remember that. We reviewed it a while back, but we've never done Sorority Babes at the Slime Bowl Bolorama though. Which I feel like Night of the Demons is a better film objectively, but Sorority Babes is pretty fun. That's like remember, I think we watched it. They find like a gremlin demon thing like in a trophy at a bowling alley.
Yeah, I barely
like that grants wishes, right?
I don't think
I haven't seen it for several years. So it's like I kind of remember what happened. I've seen it a few times, but it's been a long time.
You showed it to me probably within a year or
I think I did. I think I showed it to you like a while back.
When you get to my age, things don't make the same impression on you.
Tom's no fun anymore.
No, I was saying, they don't make a deep impression on you anymore unless it's fucking something really good. I remember it being okay. A lot of shit you said was okay, but I didn't grow up seeing that one, so it wasn't really.
So it didn't have the same.
It didn't really have the same. I didn't have the same nostalgia for it.
Yeah, because I saw that back in the day.
Yeah, I never seen it. If I'd seen it back in the day, then when I'm watching it again, I'll enjoy it more and it'll be more refreshed. You know what I mean? But that was the first time I had seen that one.
It's interesting though, because I kind of feel like I don't know, like I have like a 50-50 kind of thing. Movies that I was super into, like horror movies that I was super into when I was a kid, like back in the 70s and 80s. And it's like, oh my God, this was like the best thing ever. I love this movie or whatever. But I hadn't seen it in like 30 years or something. And then like I watch it again. About half the time, I'm like, wow, that's way better than I remembered. Mm-hmm. But the other half, I'm just like, what the fuck was I even thinking?
Yeah, it was like me and Trancers. I remember Trancers being cool as shit. Went and fucking bought the DVD, bought the Blu-ray.
It's terrible.
Put that on, and I'm 10 minutes into this movie, and I'm like, what the fuck is this, man?
That's a Charles Band movie? That's a Charles Band movie.
And I was like, I couldn't believe that we liked that movie.
Exactly, like I said, like, what were you thinking?
Yeah, teenage boys, man. And I was like, this shit was boring as fuck. And it didn't really... The story was just all over the fucking place. And they were definitely making this up as they were going along. You know? But when you're fucking 17, and you're down in the basement with your friends, and you're fucking smoking cigarettes and probably drinking beer, thinking about some chick you're gonna see, you know, the next day, everything's more impressive. I don't know what it is. It was just the time.
Everything's new to you.
Everything's new, yeah. So you're like, yeah, that's cool.
And like I said, I don't It sucks that when you get older, that's the sucky thing about getting older, is that you're not impressed with stuff anymore because, like, you've seen everything.
Seen that shit.
So you get kind of, like, old and cranky. I try not to be like that. I really try not to.
Well, one that was the other way around, I didn't like it when I first saw it, but then you showed it to me again. I was like, oh, this is good. Was Day of the Comet?
Night of the Comet.
Night of the Comet. That was good.
That's an excellent fucking movie.
I remember, I was like, man, I can't believe I didn't like this movie.
Yeah, I don't know why you weren't into it.
Didn't like it when I first saw it.
I don't get it either. But like I said, if I see something that I'm kind of ambivalent about, I'm always kind of, especially if it's like a horror movie, because you know how I am about that. I'm just like, you know what? I'll give this a few years, and I'll give it another watch. You know, maybe I was just in a bad mood, or, you know, maybe I'll be different then, and like maybe, because honestly, like I've watched some stuff back in the 80s or 90s, and I'm just like, I don't really care for that. But then, like, I watched it again because I was curious, and I was like, oh, that was, like, way better than I was expecting, or I saw something in it that I didn't see back then. But like I said, sometimes I see the shit, and I'm just like, I have no fucking idea why I liked this movie back in the 80s. This is terrible. But I don't know. It's about 50-50 on that. So, and I'm not, like Tom knows, I'm not a super nostalgic person. Like, I like a lot of 80s stuff, but I recognize that a lot of stuff that came out in the 80s was crap, just like nowadays. So I don't really have any kind of...
Kason goes, I like 24. Kason, I don't know if I told you, but the girl on 24, I think the character's name was Chloe. Her real name is Mary Lynn Rice Cub. That's my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, he dated her in
high school.
Yeah,
I talked to her.
And he talks to her on.
I talked to her all the time on
Instagram.
Yeah,
so.
She's seen the show.
Yeah, she watches the show sometimes.
Yeah, and she was like, running around me and Steve and Gramthars Hammer. We were in the same drama program together in high school, and fucking man, we had so much fun. She was like, yeah, man, those are the days. We had fucking fun, and fucking that was up in Michigan. Went to high school in Michigan and Brazil. I had to go do an extra year because they wouldn't accept my fucking Michigan credits in Brazil.
Because they're like, nah, y'all are dummies up there.
Yeah, no, Brazil was IB. It was international.
International baccalaureate.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, Casey said, I binge watched 24. I like the action, very good acting from all the characters, but pointless. I don't know, I've never seen that show. Like, I'm aware of it, but...
He's going, whoa, Tom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got slides of her fucking in the other room fucking at my birthday party, my 17th birthday party. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? She got famous.
She came over to the house. And,
Tom also, well, you didn't know Quentin Tarantino, but you went to the same school as Quentin Tarantino. Yeah. He was like a couple years.
He's a couple years older than me. I remembered him. Him. And he worked at the video store.
Because he grew up in California.
Yeah, up in California. He worked up at the video store fucking at the end of Dominguez, if I remember correctly. It's over there. And that store ended up in the place where the Mexican restaurant used to be called El Ranchitos. That's where my dad used to take me as a Mexican restaurant, but that went under. They put the video store in there, and that's where Quentin Tarantino worked.
And that's where he cut his teeth.
Yeah.
On all the movies he watched when he worked at the video store and then became a director.
Also partied with fucking, you would know her as maybe Parker Posey. She's an actress. She was on Blade 3. And
she's been in a ton of stuff. She was in a lot of indie movies.
Yeah, a lot of indie movies. Was friends with her twin brother, Chris. Her name is Chris Posey. And her name is not Parker Posey. Her name is Missy Posey. Parker's her middle name. But she's from Laurel, Mississippi. Now, Laurel's where my dad grew up.
Yeah, that's where
I kind of grew up there in the summers. And then also right outside of there, a place called Heidelberg, a little German town. With that, Laurel, Mississippi has now got a whole damn television series
on HGTV. 8 seasons.
8 seasons of it.
And it's good.
It's a good
We've
show.
watched every single episode.
Yeah.
And they put new ones up on Sundays and we watch them.
It's called Our Town.
No, Hometown.
Hometown. Yeah.
Ben and Aaron.
Yeah.
And they go in there. It's like, yeah. Well, that's kind of what, when Tom came back from after his dad died, when he came back from Mississippi, and somebody told us that there's like, there's a whole HGTV show
my dad told
about
me.
That town. Oh, that's right. Yeah, your dad. So I was like, oh my God, we need to look that up.
Yeah.
So it's like all of the episodes were on HBO Max, which I have. And they put new ones. It's still on. So they put new ones up every Sunday. So we watch them like religiously every Sunday. I really like that show.
He's asking me if Mary Lynn is actual a dork in 24. I've never seen a single episode of 24.
Well, is she a dork in real life like she is on 24? Is what he's asking.
We used to call her Goomly or Rice Cakes. Instead of Rice Cup, we call her Rice Cakes.
I mean,
she was real cute. She was on a swim team, and she was in drama program. She was funny. If you see her comedy act, she was kind of like that as a teenager. She wasn't a dork. No, she was like a cool punk rock type chick. But she didn't dress punk rock, but she listened to Psychedelic Furs, fucking Depeche Mode,
all the new wave,
all the dark new wave type stuff. She was very fit. Okay, she kind of had a goofy face, but she was real cute. Had a killer figure. She was smart, funny. Say crazy shit out of the fucking blue. Trying to think of what else was about her. You could tell, our whole little gang from the fucking drama program, there's like 7 of us. You could tell she was going to make an impact. I didn't know she'd be an actress. I thought she'd get out of that. But she went to college for it. And then moved out to California. She stuck with it,
And obviously got pretty fucking famous.
Now, after 24, she spent all that money. She's broke.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, she's broke. California eats up all your money. Okay, so then I think she started getting back into... she had a couple kids. She got divorced. I think she's single now. I think the kids are gone, and she's touring and doing comedy stuff based on what I'm seeing. But she was funny. But I wouldn't have suspected she'd be a comedian. You know what I mean? No, it wasn't that kind of humor. Wasn't the stand-up kind of humor.
Right, I gotcha.
You're interacting with her, and she would say some funny shit.
Right.
Yeah,
which doesn't always translate.
It didn't translate
to just standing up on a stage. I gotcha.
Yeah. And me and Steve were getting all the leads. So in those days, you know what I mean? She's a good actor, but I was ahead of her in those days. I fucking landed lead roles and musicals and shit. I could have been a great actor, but I didn't want to do it. I wanted to fucking live a real man's life. I didn't want to go out to fucking California, casting couch, you know what I mean? Blowing dudes to get jobs and shit. No, man.
You probably would have been a good actor, though.
Yeah, but not in modern Hollywood. Fuck that. I don't want to do that shit. It would have been better if I was an actor in another country where you'd have to do that.
You could have gone to Italy and been in Giallo films.
Yeah, been like Italy and been Giallo.
That'd have been awesome.
Yeah.
You could have been the villain.
Yeah.
Put some black gloves on, stab some bitches. You know what I mean? I would like that. Phantom says it's more impressive that Tom's mom dated Wayne Newton.
Yeah, and Robert Goulet.
Robert Goulet, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some of Wayne Newton's clothes.
That's right.
Yeah. And I got some of his scarves.
It's a whole thing. It's like, I don't know. It's so funny.
My mom was a Vegas girl, man. She was,
yeah.
She hung out with all the... She was a Vegas girl hanging out with the Vegas...
That's so funny.
Entertainer crowd. Yeah. Well, she was 5'1", double G breasts, fucking, and built like a fucking brick shit house, and fucking blonde. Yeah. Just big old boobs. I became a boob man, I was born a boob man.
That's a little weird,
Big boob in the mouth. It's just the way... It's just breastfeeding, you know what I mean? I guess it's just built into you, I guess.
You told me you wish you could breastfeed off me.
Oh, yeah. I had to get you pregnant.
Well, a little late for that.
Yeah, too late.
I'm a little too old for that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, she's a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, just look up Mary Lynn Rice Cup. She's on Twitter. Not Twitter. She's not probably on Twitter, but Instagram.
Yeah, because Tom talks to her on there sometimes.
I talked to her on Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, she comments on his posts sometimes.
Yeah.
Parker Posey. She was in Henry Fool, if I recall. Oh my god, I forgot about that movie. Henry
Parker-
Fool was a great. I mean, that was Hal Hartley. Yes, I love Hal Hartley. If nobody's seen Hal Hartley movies, please watch them. Amateur is my favorite, but all of them are good.
Missy was super cute. One of the prettiest girls in Laurel High School. And was like probably like one of the most noble chicks there. You know what I mean? Like she's the kind of girl that if she saw somebody making fun of somebody, she'd go in there and stop it. You know what I mean?
See, that's awesome.
She was like
I
one of those.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And super cute, super intelligent. Her twin brother is a big. They're not identical twins, of course.
Fraternal. They're
fraternal twins. Her brother's a big, good-looking fucking jock back in those days. Super friendly, alpha type of guy. Their dad was Chris Posey. He owned the Chevrolet dealership in Laurel. So she came from money. Big old fucking car dealership. I ran into her a couple times after the high school. Once at a little club that they had in Laurel while she was back from school. She went to college in New York. I think it was New York. Went to some acting school. Then I ran into her at fucking New York. I was up there when I was living in Boston. Me and my army buddy went to New York, and I ran into her in a fucking bar. And I said, "You remember me?" She goes, "No." And fucking, I told her, and I said, "I'm David Key's cousin from California. Remember?" And she's, "Oh yeah. I remember you, Tommy. Yeah. Funny." Yeah.
Well, if you watch the hometown show that is set in Laurel, Mississippi,
yeah, I recognize most of those people.
One of the houses was the Keys house.
Yeah.
And those are like not distant relations, but
they're like, you have to understand, in the deep old South,
we're all related.
No, it's not actually how it goes. Well, there's all these fucking the stereotype is all these Southern dudes are fucking their cousins. It's kind of true.
Yeah, I was gonna say there is some truth.
All right, but the thing is that in the deep South, a cousin is the child of anyone who is a friend of your parents.
Yeah.
So, your dad's best friends, all of his kids are your cousins.
Even though it's not necessarily
there's no blood relations.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Now, in the deep South, black people, if your mom has a child by another man, that's your brother or your sister. But if your dad has a child with another woman, that's your cousin. That's the way that works in the black community. Still a half brother, but they call it a cousin. Yeah. So in the deep South, cousin doesn't mean the exact same thing as it does.
Yeah, it's not a technical
It
term.
can mean half brother. It can, or half sibling. It can also mean friend of the family, basically.
Yeah.
Now they have something called kissing cousins, and that's a second cousin. You can marry those.
Hence the name.
Yeah, you can't marry a first cousin.
I mean, people do, but it's
not frowned on.
It's kind of frowned on.
Yeah.
Like, it's not illegal.
Yes, it is.
Well, in some states it's not.
A couple of the states it isn't, but in general in the South, marrying a first cousin is illegal. Mississippi, it's illegal.
Probably illegal here too, but I'm not real sure.
And then there's all this kind of weird shit that was in Mississippi up until very recently. It's changed now, but I remember in the 90s, age of consent was about 14 or 15. Okay, you could marry a 14 or 15-year-old with
parental consent.
Parental consent. But I think age of consent was like 14 or 15. Now, all the federal laws still applied. If you had a 14-year-old wife and you took a nude photo of her, that would be a federal fucking offense. That would be child pornography, even though you're married to that person.
Or a kitty prawn, or as we like to call it.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Even in those days when age of consent was like 14 or 15, dudes didn't mess with them. You know, grown guys.
It
wasn't in the
you
culture.
Would hope not.
If you were at some kind of party and everybody's fucking drunk, you know what I mean, and you're in your fucking 20s and you don't know how old these girls. Yeah, because the South, there's this fucking weird concept. And that was back in the day. I think
so much
now. It's not like that.
It's not like that.
I think age
anymore.
of consent now is like 18 or 7.
I think
18,
it's
16, maybe it's 16, but then there's...
In Florida, I'm not entirely... I think in Florida it's 16.
I thought it might be 18, but then there's...
Please correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it's 18 or 17 or 18.
But there's statutory rape things if you're so many years older
than somebody else. That's something else that they do. Because you say, well, you have too much... Now, pretty much all states, you cannot date a person if they're a student. Like if you are their teacher. Like you're a teacher and they're one student, you can't date that person. You can in university, but you can't in high school.
Because in university you're an adult.
Right.
So it's like you can't really... But yeah, in high school, obviously, because there's a power dynamic and it's just kind of like, that's a whole minefield you don't want to wander into.
Right.
Which I get that.
So you see a lot of people going to jail, or women going to jail, teachers, because it's almost all women who are the teachers now. Dudes don't do it for the most part. You see them going to jail for having sex with 17, 18-year-old boys. You go, wait a minute, hold on, that's legal, that's age of consent. But no, it's not if it's teacher.
Yeah, but like I said, that's a different dynamic.
It's a different dynamic.
And honestly, I don't know what the percentage of male to female teachers is. When I was in school,
it's 90% female now.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's about half and half when I was
like 90% female now, from what I understand.
Well, I don't know. I'd have to check.
Yeah, so I've heard it recently. It's like almost all female.
Well, probably a lot of people got out of it because it doesn't fucking pay.
It don't pay.
It doesn't pay shit.
It doesn't pay, yeah.
It doesn't pay shit, and it's a super stressful job.
Yeah.
Honestly, I admire anybody that would want to do that because I would never do that in a million years. Not for the amount they pay you. Jesus Christ.
Okay, well, it's
a lot. It's a lot of fucking bullshit. Almost, yeah.
Okay.
Kasenlee says, here in Sri Lanka, in the olden days, people always do the cousins. It was ingrained into the culture itself, but not anymore. Yeah, I kind of feel like that was not frowned upon back in the day. Like here, even back in the Victorian era, in the U.S. and the U.K., people would marry their cousins all the time, and everyone was just kind of okay with it. It seemed like...
A lot of it had to do with keeping money inside of a family.
Didn't Edgar Allan Poe marry his cousin who was also 13?
Yeah.
And nobody really said much about it.
The thing is, though, is that in general, that didn't go on for very much in terms of generation. It wasn't generational. Now, in certain areas during the 1920s and 30s when they started the eugenics programs, which really was actually what they should have done, they were going into certain areas, and not only the South, but other places, where whole towns of people, whole villages of people were badly inbred. And they'd go in there and they'd fucking pay them to sterilize them. And there are pictures of them. It's because they had been married and cut. They were before there was an interstate road system, some of those towns had been cut off from roads even. All right? So there was nobody coming in or out of there, and for maybe 3 fucking generations, they'd all been marrying each other. You looked at the people fucking all fucked up looking. IQ's real low.
They're all looking like Chunk from the Goonies.
Yeah. So, and they had pictures of them. There's still pictures of them.
Not Chunk, but...
They'd find these little pockets of people living in these fucking isolated villages, and they'd go in there and they'd take pictures of them, and it'd be the state. And, subcontractors for the state. And they're going, yeah, this is a bad situation. Okay, everybody come down here. Look, we're going to give you all $100, or we're all give you $20 for this, little quick procedure here we're going to do to you. You know what I mean? They go, oh, yeah, sure. And then they try to sterilize them, and they break them up, try to get them to move to other areas. But
please stop doing this.
Yeah, well, you didn't want... Well, what they would do is they connect roads to it to get traffic flow through it and try to get them to fucking get the fuck out.
And that's kind of like the hell of that situation.
Yeah.
It's like they're adults, and you don't want to tell them what to do, like who they can fuck and have children with and stuff like that. But on the other hand, they're perpetuating generations of people who are becoming more and more inbred and causing a lot of problems to the point where, a couple generations on, those people are, they're causing a lot of problems to their offspring. Yeah, I mean,
they're mutants.
If you want to say that.
Yeah, that's what they are.
So and that's shitty, to do to somebody.
There were real bad crime rate problems, real bad sexual assault problems between them all because the IQ was like fucking 40.
That's what I
You're
mean. And
fucking
it's just
dumb, you know.
So it's like, at what point, like I said, I'm all for adults doing what they want and stuff like that, but at some point you do have to intervene.
Yeah.
You can't just like let people do whatever the fuck they want, because then that kind of shit happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean. So Phantom says,
Oh yeah. Phantom probably Phantom is probably Brian hacking himself. Yeah, I gotta call him, man. Fucking, you gotta have him hit me up. I gotta remember.
yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Like, he would probably talk all day about that.
Yeah.
Because he worked on Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
And
Brian
great fucking movie. If you have not seen it, it's like a Western, but goes super into horror movie at the end. Like, if you're squeamish, please do not watch it.
Yeah,
but
Brian Hackett's a guy I went to grew up with in military school out in California. We went to Southern California Military Academy together. He ended up in Hollywood doing sound and things like that. He's a friend of Kurt Russell's, a bunch of other
Friend of Kressel.
Yeah. He's in the Kressel sphere.
The Crystal Sphere.
Look, we got to get out of here, Jet.
I know. Oracle said, turns out wondering if we ever did a show about the blue people. We haven't, but I think that's in my list, though. So we will probably get around to it.
Okay.
Yeah. High Desert said Lovecraft wrote about inbred people. Wasn't that enough? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean.
They were around. They were around.
That's what I mean. And like I said, that's where you kind of have to think, I don't know how great it is. These little isolated. It doesn't happen anymore, I guess, like at least to the same extent. But these isolated communities where it's, we're all going to fuck each other. It'll be fine. And then, you see what happens a couple generations down the line. That doesn't work out so good. You need variation. That's how evolution works. You need to introduce some new DNA. You can't just have the same DNA over and over. You're going to have a bad time. So yeah. Oh, okay. So Phantom is telling me that we need to do, where's that raccoon? So here we go, just for you.
Where is that raccoon?
There it was. There it was. I hope you're happy. I had totally forgotten that was still on the list. All right, so we gotta go because the shit's starting in like half an hour, and it takes about a half an hour to drive there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this show this evening. We'll be back on Monday night, and we're going to be talking about the 1969 George Lazenby James Bond film On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is excellent if you haven't seen it, by the way. I mean, we'll talk about it on the show, but yeah, I was really into it. That was the only James Bond film he did, unfortunately. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about that on Monday, so hopefully you guys can join us for that. Have a good weekend. Have a good Mother's Day, everybody. I'm going to go see my mom on Sunday. We're going to drive to Ocala and take her some food and hang out with my mom on Sunday. So I'm kind of happy about that because I haven't seen her in a little while. So yeah, hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Have a good Mother's Day, everybody. And we will see you again on Monday night. Good night.